So much talk continuing this week about Brock Purdy. It's got to catch up with him, right? I said this yesterday when the number opened. 49ers 3.5 against the Cowboys. The only reason, in my opinion, why it's that low is because people are expecting Brock, or they're not fully convinced Brock Purdy can be this good like every single week. They're expecting some sort of a drop-off. I said if this was Jimmy Garoppolo, never got hurt, played this well down the stretch, the number would not be 3.5.
They never looked like this with Garoppolo.
And I went back and listened to our conversation with Chris Bennett, who runs the NFL numbers here at Circa. I've had plenty of people tell me that Chris Bennett's the sharpest guy they've ever met.
Yeah.
You ran that scenario by him last week on this show. Hypothetical.
Yeah.
Niners at the Eagles, who's favored? He said with Jalen Hurts currently, like the status, he said, yeah, probably the Niners would be favored on the road. Okay, they're 3.5 now at home to the Cowboys.
Be careful with the do theory, people. Be careful.
And so, the defenses that he's faced so far on the year, right? Yeah, he's played some bad defenses. For example, the Raiders' defense is not good. 31st in passing EPA per play and 31st in DVOA, advanced metrics. Let's see here. Miami's defense, not great. 26th in EPA, 25th in DVOA. Arizona's defense, not great either. They're ranked 21st overall. But what about Tampa Bay's defense? 8th best adjusted sack rate in football. 12th passing EPA per play. 15th in DVOA, so it's middle of the pack. He was 16 of 21 for $185 and 2 touchdowns. I'd say that's pretty good. They blew out the Buccaneers. The Seahawks pass defense, average. They have a good pass rush, and he was really good against that team again this past weekend. Washington, their top 10 passing EPA per play. They have the 7th best adjusted sack rate, and they're 13th in DVOA at Football Outsiders. Purdy was 15 of 22 for 234 and 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. So, yeah, some of the defenses have been bad. Some of them have been pretty good against the pass. And this guy has been nailed so far and has passed the test pretty much every single week. I'm starting to believe in this tweet from Chris Felica, the Bear, who pointed out yesterday on Twitter. First, it was Brock Purdy's first start. Then it was his first road start. Then it was, yeah, but those weren't playoff teams to end the regular season. Then it was his first playoff game. Now it's the Cowboys are the first 10-plus win team that he's faced. Next week it's going to be, yeah, but it's his first playoff road start. Every week there's something new and something first with this guy.
He's passed every test.
Yeah, and maybe it's time people stop expecting him to fail and think that he might be a pretty good football player.
Right, good tweet.
And I like the back and forth. Matt Campbell was his head coach at Iowa State. That dude had Brock Purdy and Breece Hall.
Yep.
Breece Hall was turning into the odds-on favorite. He was going to be the odds-on favorite to win the Rookie of the Year at some point if he didn't get hurt. And this dude came in and could win Rookie of the Year.
And Campbell lost 6 games with him.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have to be Superman with the cast that he has, right? Look at the 74-yard touchdown to Samuel, right? It's an embarrassment of riches, but again, they didn't look like that with Garoppolo.
Right.
I mean, how bad they struggled. Remember how bad Garoppolo was in the NFC title game last year? It's terrible.
Yeah. He was awful.
This he got off to a slow start against Seattle, but then he made the throws, made the plays, and threw. How are you going to criticize someone and do the but when he throws for 330? We also saw him come from behind against the Raiders in the second half, and he did that. So the offense has been a freight train. They've won 11 in a row, and I don't care what the numbers say. Dallas, the defense has struggled here
and I want
the last couple games. And this is the 4th straight road game for the Cowboys.
There you go.
With travel, cross-country, short week.
Yep, that's big. And I want you to listen to this. This is from Rob Guerrera, who was on with our afternoon show here on VSiN yesterday. He was on with Tim Murray and Sean King. And Tim Murray asked him about, a potential Brock Purdy stink bomb. And he asked him, well, was it maybe last week in the first half against Seattle?
I think that's as close as he's going to get because, like Sean said, the offense around him and the guy calling plays, it's so much. If you look at just the plays on Saturday where the Niners had their starting group of skill players all on the field at the same time, so Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, Juszczyk, there were 17 plays in that game where all of them were on the field at the same time. And the Niners gained over 15 yards per play with that personnel grouping. It's easy for Brock. He's throwing to guys that are open by 5 and 6 yards. I mean, if he can't hit those, I don't care if you're the last pick of the draft or whatever. If you can't hit those, you can't play. And clearly, he can at least hit those, and that might be enough.
It's one of the best stats I've ever heard my entire life.
Yeah.
No hyperbole.
Yes.
17 plays, the main players for the 49ers on the field, 15 yards per play. That's otherworldly. And by the way, enough of the he was the last pick in the. Who cares? By the way, who cares if he was a 7th round pick or a 4th round pick? Like, what's the big deal? What's the difference? We talk about this every single draft. They're all coin flips anyway. The first round. Oh, you got to trade up for Bryce Young. Why? Why would you trade up for him? He's 5'11", 190 pounds. We've done this over and over every single year for as long as I've been alive about quarterbacks. To me, there is no difference between Tom Brady going 199th, Purdy going last overall, and a middle of the 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
No difference at all.
I mean, he's penciling him in for 250 and 2 scores every game. And that was a great answer, though, too, about just use what you have and use the weapons and the great coaching staff.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.